I'm Alek Dincoff, voice actor, here with Steve Todd, creator, founder of Open Source Workplace, where we dive in, pick his brain on things going on in the industry, and see how he's developing, creating, and how Open Source Workplace, the website, is coming along. A lot of great developments. We've got a long-running Q&A on this. If you haven't, check out the previous episodes. Good information, and stay for this one. Even better information. Current, up-to-date, new stuff. Steve, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Alek. Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Coffee's kicking in.
There you go.
Getting the energy. I'm happy to be here with you. I love these meetings because it's always so exciting. I know last week you blew me out of the water with what was happening, the feedback Open Source Workplace has been getting. If you want to reiterate for anyone who missed the video, go ahead and jump right in. And then kick us off with also anything new that's going on with Open Source Workplace.
Yeah, no, thank you, Alex. And it was great actually going through your excitement last week as we were chatting was really good, and it's infectious. And so thank you for you being part of this. It's very much appreciated. And I actually watched the video back from last week, and actually just trying to resonate with co-working and on what we're doing and what we're being able to achieve so quickly. I think we're just almost at 6,000 co-working locations now. So we're keeping on. So, and that's all fair play to the team who just work away, getting the locations added. So that's fantastic. But I wanted to focus more today on other workplace service providers. So, I mean, who are other workplace service providers? So, Open Source Workplace was created, with the whole spirit of how do we maximize workplace productivity and employee experience for everyone, no matter who they are or where they work or what they do. So what we're looking to do is try and bring service providers who provide workplace specific services to organizations. So it can be within real estate, it can be within HR, finance, to leaders, executive coaching, whatever that is. We're trying to bring everyone together under one place to provide education and to provide services to that community. So what we're trying to do is, or what we're allowing people to do is create a landing page on Open Source Workplace for you as a service provider. And you can take it from two perspectives. One, there's a free, no cost, you sign up and you basically put in your personal information, very similar to what you do on LinkedIn, same type of information. But then we have a business section where you can actually insert the information for the company that you're working for, how people can reach out directly to you through Open Source Workplace. Very similar to how Angie's List works, where people can go rate, review, and that's sort of what we want to try and achieve. And the reason we're sort of structuring it as an individual basis, because we believe that people do business with people, not necessarily organizations. And the more we get to know you as an individual, then the more, I'm going to be rating and ranking it and sort of recommending you to other people rather than essence the actual company, because companies can be very large. And, we've all had experiences where we've, brought in a consulting company and actually the person who we were recommended to work with wasn't available. So maybe that experience wasn't quite the same. So that's the spirit with which what we're trying to do. And obviously, whenever you create a service provider profile, you then have the ability to add other content to the site. So you can submit articles and content that is educational and actionable, not sales driven. That's not what we want on open source, but something that readers going to read, and actually be able to action in their workplace. And whenever you think about the content of what you would actually provide, think about the questions that people ask you when you're being interviewed during the process. What are the questions? What are the concerns that organizations have whenever you come in to fix and give them solutions? What are the questions? Provide articles that actually people really want to know and resonate. And I'm a true believer that if you give people more than actually they think you could potentially give, if you give them everything, they're always going to believe there's so much more behind the curtain, because who gives everyone everything for free? And in essence, I totally buy into that philosophy. That's why Open Source Workplace is created and it's free. The other way to look at it, if you're a designer, you're an architect, there's ways to upload images to photos. Just go ahead, upload the photos. You can link and do whatever you want with them back to to your profile page. So basically people can sort of find you in multiple ways. And the more I thought about this, Alec, I was almost thinking that open source is almost becoming its own social network for workplace. And almost I want people to kind of use it for that. Now, the real thing is for service providers, you cannot connect with end users. So, you know, me, I'm on open source as an end user. For me as a person and an individual, what I do, and obviously in there for open source workplace. I can't connect with myself on the network, but me as an end user can actually reach out to service providers and connect with them directly. So that's really how we want and how we're structured open source workplace. So I think there are some key things that the service providers, I think, can find and utilize with open source. I think they're going to be operating in an environment where it's solely workplace focused. You know, you go to LinkedIn, you go to Facebook, there's everything going on there. And where in those on those media sites, you're almost the actual service providers are really chasing the end users. Where what we want to try and create on open source is the vice versa. How do you provide so much value to individuals, to end users, so actually they cannot help themselves but reach out to you because you're answering questions that they have and they're experiencing every day in their office. So we're trying to flip and spin the dial. So how do people think about service providers and also how they operate within an open source workplace?
I gotta say, that's a great take. That's a great take on the industry. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm from Indiana. That's where the founder of Angie's List is. In fact, they live in Indianapolis. Why do I know this? I sat next to Angie from Angie's List's mother on a plane once. Yeah. But I've heard lots of gripes because it got bigger here. That's kind of where she focused because that was her home, right? So I've heard of the goods and bads that go with Angie's List. And I love the fact that you're very much content driven. It's so much more than just a bid or, hey, can I get a couple options, right? You have it all. And you've got the great feedback, right? It's not just, oh, take our word for it. You can see the reviews for service providers. You've set the platform up right. I'm excited to be a part of it. And I encourage anybody watching, whether it be an HR professional. I've seen animators sign up, which directly affects me as a voice talent. It doesn't matter your industry. Take a look. Open Source Workplace has a spot for you. And I can't thank you enough, Steve.
No, thank you. It's very kind of you to say so. And you know, so how much do I believe in the spirit of what we're trying to create, right? So anyone who writes or is part of Open Source Workplace has a landing page there in Open Source Workplace. So anyone who's working for me, even you, they can come in, they find Alec, and they can go connect with you directly from Open Source Workplace to you, reach out to you and engage with you and perhaps, you know, trying to do some business with you. And that's the same with the animators, same with all the writers. And that's the whole thing that I love. And there are other people who I just in the industry who I just have big admirers of, and they're on the thing also on Open Source Workplace also. That's too funny, call it the thing. And what I am doing, Alec, is for those that sign up initially, while there's still a small crowd, I've started an interview series. So I'm going to be interviewing all the service providers who are actually on the site while I still have the ability and the bandwidth to do so. So my intent is to release one, maybe two videos, depending on how quickly we get through filming and taking them. And it's just going to be an interaction, very much like we do, very ad hoc, very unscripted, very unedited. I want it to be raw. I want it to be natural. And again, the whole point, the whole concept is, well, how do I as an end user get to know you as a service provider? Well, let's have a conversation. Let's have a cup of coffee and let's chat about, you know, well, who are you? Where'd you come from? Why are you interested in this? You know, help educate me on the questions that you get every day. And then perhaps there, you know, that generates business for the service providers. So that's something I've kicked off. I've done a couple. I have a few more lined up. So we'll start that process taken over. And again, the whole idea and concept is, how do I help you as a service provider actually generate business for you by providing value to the industry? And the value you provide to the industry is to answer the questions that the industry is talking about and people don't have the answers to.
That's really great. Coming from this side, because there's some things that whenever I deal with a new client, they think it's all cut and dry and I'm going to instantly be able to see inside their head, right? That's not the case. And you understanding what I need in order to help give a better product. Once you understand enough, then you'll be able to slightly tailor or shift open source workplace to make it a better environment for the service provider and ultimately the end user, which is great. For instance, I know you know a lot about HR, right? Business development, perhaps, right? So these are some things you might already have structured into open sourced workplace, but I'm guessing you aren't maybe an animator or someone who's an artist, right? So a conversation like that, if you start getting, I only say animator because I've seen a few sign up on open sourced workplace and it's more in the entertainment industry. But if you pick their brain, you're going to find out things that you probably weren't aware of that can help everyone succeed. So good on you. Thank you very much, because it's that next step. It's more than just an Angie's List. Here's a quote, right? Reach out to them and good luck. It's the next step.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to give people almost bring them into each person's living room and sort of see and see who they are as individuals. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, good.
Very good. Very good. Well, I'm excited. I'm wondering, am I going to get to have an interview or is it just going to be...
You get interviewed every week, man. What are you talking about? You know,
that's true.
I like it when I spin it on you sometimes. And you're not expecting it, and you're like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that." You see the horror in your face, you know. But maybe we can, you know. But I'd be happy to. Maybe we take one of these segments one day. And that's what we do. But yeah, I mean that's the whole. That's the whole. And I hope that you people do reach out to you. And I just hope they don't steal you away from me. That's the only thing, you know.
Well, I've made it very adamantly clear that I really enjoy these segments. I love working with you, which says a lot. When people are working together and both parties are really having a ball, they're really enjoying the product or the output, that lets you know that either things are just working right or something good's being done. In this case, I think it's both. So
yeah, totally agree. All right.
Well, is there anything else with open source workplace? Pull the conversation off of us.
Although there'll be plenty more, and what I want to do over the next few weeks with these segments is dive into different sections of open source workplace, how to use different sites, why it's designed the way it is, how to get the best of things, and maybe next time I touch more on the end user. So end users are people who work within organizations who actually are responsible for creating the environment and operational systems within that environment that allow employees to, maximize their productivity and their experience.
Perfect. And I just realized that once you have an interview with someone, like if you go to set it up with someone who's on the site currently and they're non-responsive, you're already vetting. You're already going through the process of saying, hey, let's make open source workplace a better place for the end user. So
yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Well, Steve, thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions for Steve, or if you want to see open source workplace, obviously links in the description. As for the video, smash that subscribe, share this on social media. We don't care if it's LinkedIn, if it's Facebook, it could be Instagram, it could be Pinterest, pin it away. But as for us, we'll be here next week. We'll see you then.